So she'll hand you over to Alex.
Thank you very much. Right, if I share my screen, I'm going to see how successful this is, because... Oh, there you go. Can everyone see that okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so as Cheryl said, my name is Alex, and I have been at Chaser since July, so about 9 months. And I don't know how many of you have heard of Chaser, maybe seen it on Cheryl's website. For those of you who don't know, I'll just give kind of a quick overview. So Chaser is the market leader in cloud credit control. So we launched in 2014, so we recently celebrated our 5th birthday. We integrate with key cloud accounting platforms, so Xero, and then also QuickBooks Online and Sage Business Cloud Accounting. I believe you are all on Xero, though, so that's fine. So in terms of what Chaser is designed to do, so I've gone through all that. So Chaser is designed to automatically chase invoices. And it does so without losing the human touch. So a lot of times with automation, it's kind of associated with being very robotic, very impersonal. And with something as sensitive as chasing for invoices, obviously it's really, really important that you maintain that personal touch. You want people to think that you've handwritten these emails, when in reality you've just pressed send and you've kind of fired off however many invoices you want to chase for. So on the platform there are several aspects that you can personalize for your organization. So that's, you know, putting in your email signatures, things like that. So it really does look like it's coming from you as well. We also have a built-in CRM, so it stores and logs all invoice correspondence. So whereas emails, you can send them from the platform, but using your email address. All chasers and replies as well, so replies that you get, are all stored on the Chaser platform as well. So it's really, really useful to have it all in one place. It's really simple. I'm sure Cheryl can vouch for this as well. You don't have to kind of traipse through pages and pages of emails to try and find that one invoice that you chased several weeks ago. You can just go onto the invoice page and you can find it there as well. And then finally, also we have a reports page, and this reports page allows you, it gives you data insights. It kind of summarizes those customers that perhaps you should pay a bit more attention to, those bad payers. It can help you to categorize your customers into different schedules. So it kind of does the hard work for you in that respect as well. It's a really user-friendly platform. We've recently relaunched our kind of web page to Chaser 2.0, so it's very user-friendly, easy to use. There is on our website a 6-minute demo video. I'm going to send Cheryl this PowerPoint afterwards, and she can send it across to all of you, so you're going to have this anyway. So there's a demo video on the website which walks through the platform. If any of you want additional help, then I would be more than happy to give you a walkthrough of the platform in a bit more detail, so that you can understand a bit more about Chaser and the platform as well. And then in terms of what we're doing at this time, so obviously as Cheryl said, now's a very difficult time to chase for payment, and we have had a lot of users and partners as well come to us in recent weeks, a lot with concerns that either they don't want to chase during this time because it can seem quite insensitive. You know your customers are struggling, but equally you guys are small businesses as well, and it's just as important for you to get the money in. So it's kind of striking that balance. We're very lucky in that we haven't been hit as hard as many other SMEs out there. So we want to use kind of the best tool in our toolkit to kind of help SMEs. And that tool is credit control. So we kind of had a think and we thought, what can we do? Kind of what tools do we have to help those out there? So we launched 2 weeks ago as a response to COVID-19. we launched CRI, which is our cash flow recovery initiative. So this was launched in response to COVID-19. So obviously for SMEs, managing cash flow has always been a huge issue. And COVID-19 has only made this worse. And unfortunately, it's only going to get worse as well. And at Chaser, we really want to help as many of those SMEs and small businesses as we can. And we want to help them kind of make it through and get out the other side as well. So that's why we've launched this invoice chasing initiative. It's called the Cash Flow Recovery Initiative. And we also want to help our partners as well. So we've had a number of our partners come to us over the past few weeks, saying how busy they all are, as I'm sure Cheryl can agree, because our partners like Cheryl want to help their clients with kind of the more urgent things right now, kind of how to understand their options and their cash flow risks at this time. But unfortunately, Cheryl won't have the capacity to do all this herself. And this is where we want to step in. So in terms of what the CRI actually is, so there's two options that you can choose to kind of the pathways you can go down, whichever one is more appropriate for your business. So we've got number one, which is the free invoice chasing assistance. I should have said the most important thing. This is a completely free initiative. So yeah, it's going to be free until the 30th of June. And then from that date, the 30th of June, we're then going to review it because we have no idea how long this is going to last for. I don't think anyone does. So on the 30th of June, we're going to review how the situation is going. And if it is like it's going at the moment, then of course we will extend this deadline and continue it to be free. So everything that I'm about to detail is completely free. You're not obliged to carry on using it if you do sign up now. You are not obliged to carry on using it after this has happened. If you just want to use it for this period and then terminate, that's absolutely fine. So the first route you go down is the free invoice chasing assistance. So that is where we take over your complete chasing. So we will do everything for you, from sending out emails to doing phone calls as well. So the escalation, if that's something that you do as a business. It's for those people that they either, you don't have kind of a finance person, or you simply just don't have the capacity at the moment. So we will completely take over that for you as well. And then the second option is the coaching option. So for those who want to kind of remain in the driving seat, they're pretty happy to do their credit control themselves, but they could do with some advice and some recommendations. So your coach would give you advice on how best to chase during this time, whether that be helping you with your templates, so helping you word what to say when you're chasing as well. So you've got those two options there. And then also, if there's one that you kind of like the sound of, but you want a bit of the other. So if you wanted the coaching route, but then also you'd like us to do some phone calls for you, for example, we're very flexible. So it's as much hands-on as you like. We're very open to suggestions as long as it helps you as well. And then at the end, after this is done, I'm sure Cheryl will talk to you a bit more about this, but you can then pass this over to, if you were to take the Chaser account, Cheryl can then take this over for you, so you wouldn't have to actually do the chasing yourself as well. In terms of kind of the success we've received so far, so it was launched at the end of kind of 2 weeks ago, and we've already received kind of 50 plus registrants. Both a mix of current users who are looking for some help, and also completely new users who have just seen our blog post and they like the sound of it. So it's completely, you don't have to know anything about Chaser. As I said, we're here to help from the very, very beginning. So don't feel like put off or anything if you've never even seen Chaser before, because that's exactly what we're here to do. We're here to train you from the very beginning as well. So that is kind of CRI. Do you have any questions on the initiative so far, before I go on to talk a bit more about what else we're doing to help during this time.
So you've got 50 new registrations. Are you keeping on top of all those, or is there a bit of a waiting list?
At the moment, happy to say there is no waiting list, so we're managing to keep on top of them. So we've got kind of a tracking system, and yeah, as they come in, we're able to contact them that day when they register, and then we book in for a discovery call. And in that discovery call, we find out a little bit more about your business, what route you're looking to take, so the invoice chasing or the coaching, any questions you might have. And then it kind of goes from there. So there's no waiting list at all. We can kind of get going as quickly as we're able to kind of get the processes in place. So kind of if you sign up in 1 week, you could easily be kind of up and running by the end of that week as well.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
I'll say I've moved everyone off of.
Yeah, I think it's...
No.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll carry on. But if you have any questions, then just interrupt me as well. And then in terms of what other resources we have to help during this time, so if the initiative isn't something that you think is kind of right for you at this time, but you're looking for an additional guidance, we want to kind of make that as accessible for you as possible. So this morning we did a webinar which was titled Chasing During Uncertain Times, and I would be this was recorded, so I'd be more than happy to send the recording and the slides following this session to Cheryl, and she can kind of disperse that amongst you as well. This webinar, it was based on the Chaser platform, so it told you how to adapt your chasing to reflect the current climate. So yeah, templates, schedules, so the way in which you should maybe slightly adjust how frequently you're contacting your customers as well, and little tips that you can take away and apply to your credit control process as well. And we also have an advice inbox, and it's worth noting that this advice inbox is open to users but also non-Chaser users, so we didn't want to be kind of too like discriminatory in our inbox. So anyone who wants to email in with a question, so if you have kind of questions about approaching customers during this time, how best to deal with phone calls during this time, whatever it may be about chasing during COVID-19, that inbox is open for you. Perfect. I'll just send a link. There's also a PDF document which we have, and this PDF was actually the reason why we launched this webinar this morning, is because this PDF proved to be really, really popular. So it was in one of our blog posts, and what this PDF does is it gives you 8 templates, our best practice templates, in order to empathetically but also effectively chase during COVID-19. So these templates range from before due, so how to kind of politely nudge the customer, all the way through to late overdue. So kind of approaching when an invoice is, 90 days overdue, how do you approach that during this time? So it's kind of using different wording. You want to come across very understanding to your customers, but also that line between them understanding that you are a business also, and you need the money in just as much as they don't want to give it over to you. And finally, we have a blog post. So our CEO and founder, he is called David Tuck, and he used to be a finance director at a large accountancy firm. So he's got many, many years of experience in credit control. So he really is kind of best placed to give advice. And he's written a blog about kind of how to adapt your credit control function during COVID-19. So definitely worth giving that a read as well, because it's got some great kind of key takeaways and things that you can do your own credit control as well. Any questions on, I think Cheryl could be posting the links as I'm talking.
Yeah, just by the phone.
Do anyone have any questions?
What's your overall kind of success rate?
In terms of kind of the chasing?
Yeah, and getting the outstanding invoices?
So we do have the success rate is a lot of our users. I mean, we have kind of a reviews page which you can have a read through and see what our kind of current users are saying. Our success rate is high. I know people have said that it was when they started using Twitter, for like the first month or so, they got a lot of overdue invoices in that they have.
I can hear someone's baby.
Been paid for a while. There's a baby crying there. Yeah, I'd be more than happy to, if any of you have some questions that you can't maybe you can't think of right now, or you want to ask questions more specific to your business, then I'd be more than happy to answer those either after this call, or we can book in another call separately to talk you through it as well.
And subscribing to Chaser and the CRI, is it two different things or no?
So that's a good question. So you can, I mean, by all means, you can subscribe to Chaser. And again, so Cheryl is obviously a partner of Chaser. So Cheryl, again, till June 30th, is going to receive free licenses for her partner bundle. So that would be if you wanted to take out a Chaser license for yourself, for your business, you can, using Cheryl's free license. That is a separate thing to CRI. So if you wanted to just run it by yourself, so obviously with the help of my setup, but if you didn't need any kind of additional coaching, then you could just take out your Chaser subscription and kind of run it on your own. The CRI is then if you want kind of additional COVID-19 related advice on how to adapt your chasing during this time. That's kind of what the CRI falls under as well. So yeah, it is two separate things. By all means, at this time, I think they would kind of go hand in hand, because if you are taking out a Chaser subscription, we would be more than happy to advise you on kind of the best ways to adapt your chasing approach. So yeah, it entirely depends.
Thank you.
All right.
Alex, where are your main client verticals? So who are you partner, or who are your core customers, and who do you typically then are you chasing payment from? We
obviously work mainly for just SMEs, so that's kind of like our main our kind of target audience. In terms of industry, if that was what you were asking, we actually don't have a kind of a most famous kind of industry, so it can be across any multiple different whether that be construction, kind of recruitment. Yeah, it entirely depends. Anyone that sells on payment terms can use Chaser.
And sort of picking up on the success question earlier, presumably you've got sort of data rather than just sort of the review from other people saying it's wonderful and great. There must be a published number that says Chaser reduces on average your wait for payment by X% or X number of days. Is that sort of prove up the value of the service? Do you have those numbers?
Yeah, so there are. I can show you, if I can actually I can show you our website so you can understand a bit, can see it in a bit more. So this is the website, and if you then go to Why Chaser, so you can see here we chased over $2.7 billion in overdue invoices. So the average cash flow boost for every 500K, 500,000 of turnover is 22,000. And then also that is saving 7.5 hours per week on credit control. So effectively a day you are saving by using Chaser through automating the service. And then here are the reviews as well.
Wow, that's a big number. I think we'd all like that in our bank accounts right now.
I'll take half.
Yeah,
even.
awesome. Yeah.
I know I've got one more for you, and maybe we probably can expand later. There is I said to Cheryl before, there's some aspect of quite happy to carve this out and move on, particularly with our turnover growing. So it's not just about COVID-19, but I'm interested in this on an ongoing basis. But specifically this personalisation, because we're a relationship-led business, not transactional one. And that's the key bit for me is there needs to be the human element retention in that bit of the service, which I know is where you sell heavily on. Is there a couple of quick points you can say that demonstrates how you do that?
So in terms of how we can personalize the platform.
Yeah, but ultimately how it can maintain the relationships that we have with our customers without turning it into that roboticized automation approach that you sort of referenced at the beginning, really.
Yeah, so within the platform, as I said, yeah, there are multiple ways in which you can personalize it in line with your organization. The kind of the biggest one for me would definitely be the templates. So they are completely, as I'm sure Cheryl can agree with, that you can edit everything. So there's placeholders, and these placeholders pull through from your accounting software. But other than that you can kind of personalize the templates. So if you have a specific way of speaking with your customers, whether that be slightly more formal or slightly less formal, you can even there's unlimited templates. So you could create a template for a specific customer. If you have a really good relationship with them, you can create a specific template for them to ensure that there's not that kind of robotic feel to it. But Chaser does kind of pride itself on that. We've never kind of received any complaints saying that people have detected that it's automated, because you can adjust, you can chase at any time that you choose during the day. So with a lot of automation, it's like it goes out at 4 a.m. in the morning. With Chaser, you can choose to chase at any time of the day. So 11 a.m. on a Thursday, for example, whichever works best for you. So there's several different things that you can do, but in terms of kind of keeping that relationship, we do really understand the importance of that, and that's why we've kind of constructed the platform in the way we have, to ensure that you don't kind of forge those close relationships, and they still very much are kind of kept as well. So we have a thank you for paying template, for example, and this thank you for paying template is sent out after receiving payment. So when the payment is received in Xero, Chaser will register that and send out a thank you for paying. Again, you can choose to word this how you like, but it is sent out automatically. And then you will more than often receive actually a reply to that chasing thank you for paying, from the customer saying, no worries, so sorry it's late, hope you're well, or something along the lines of that. So that's kind of another example of the way that we kind of have the relationship side at the key part of the platform.
Yeah, we've found it, obviously we use it in the practice for those who aren't on direct debit, and we've found it's very effective, and yeah, people don't realise it's automated at all. Everyone thinks because it comes from our email address, it comes with our signature at the bottom and everything. It's not obvious it's from an automation like the Xero automated ones are, and I've had a lot of people not realising at all and coming back and asking things, and then conversations going from there. And I also update ours quite regularly so that it's not the same wording week after week. If we're regularly chasing an email, an invoice, for example, and it's regularly a week late, they'd normally get the same kind of templated email, but I just change that every now and again, just tweak it to make sure it's not the same exact wording. And like Alex said, we've got different wording for different clients as well. So yeah, we find it does work. And I sent one out last week, wasn't it, Alex? We did one last week for a few that were overdue, which I felt awful about, but obviously we need to keep going. And we just adjusted the wording to be a little bit more sensitive, and 2 out of the 5 paid immediately. So it's definitely working even in these times. Has anyone else got any other questions at all?
How much is a regular subscription? I
Um,
know it's a website. But...
if you bear with me 1 second, I don't know off the top of my head. Let me just check. With us, you get it cheaper than direct with Chaser.
Cheryl.
Let's have a look. So it is £50 a month plus that as just the platform on its own. But obviously we can add on that if you need us to help and help you set it up and things like that. So that's just for the software itself. And I can't remember how much is it directly, Alex? That
So for the same license that Cheryl receives as a partner, which is the enterprise, directly, that is £225 a month.
nice saving.
So Cheryl does indeed get it cheaper.
Yes. Cool. Is there any other questions?
Good to consider.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right,
I only have one that's personal to my business, so I'll maybe email you.
No, do you want me to turn the?
Oh, it's I don't mind people
I
hearing.
can
It's
turn
just
the recording off.
personal to me, so not to me, but to my business, and don't want to bore everyone with it. I just wanted a bit of advice about.
No, that's fine. If everyone else has finished with questions, I'll turn the recording off, and then we can ask more personal ones and drink.
The drink sounds good. Not got one yet.
Okay, right.
Later.
Right.